So I would like to introduce our speakers for the next session. They are going to give you their startup advice. I start with Nidhi Batra. She's heading marketing at BWPL, a content house. She's also director at Pratmesh Construction Private Limited, and she's a journalist by qualification. So she has a very diverse experience, in different fields, and we'll take her valuable insights. We have Hina is an architect having experience in India and Europe, and she's co-founder of Jugado Poly. So, and we have Kuntal Bheda. He has 12 years of work experience in strategy and project management. He joined his family business 5 years back and started Avian Foods. Avian is an upcoming food brand, flavored peanuts and snacks. He handles end-to-end marketing and his effort is focused on scaling it up. So welcome all of you, and thank you for taking out time for us today. So I will start with you, Hina. Can you share your experience about starting up and what advice or what challenges you faced and what advice you will have for young entrepreneurs?
Well, that's so as to say honestly, I can't. I think the best advice I can give is start. And
Yeah.
anyone who has started on their own will agree with that. But just start. Don't think about it because people will discourage you. It will be difficult. You will face challenges every day, but it doesn't matter. You have to just start, and you have to believe you can do it because nobody else will believe in you. And everybody will tell you how stupid an idea it is, and everybody will tell you that it will be difficult. You won't raise funds, and you won't succeed. But the point is, you have to believe that you will, and you can. And that's the one advice I can give you is believe in your idea and then follow it through. Because if you're not going to follow it through, there's no point having a discussion beyond that. Unless you start, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe Nidhi and Kuntal will agree with me on that one. That's the best advice I can give you. Just start. Start doing what you have to do.
Yeah, Nidhi, what will you like to add on it? You
I
can.
totally second Hina on this. Just start. And till you don't start, you don't know what you're getting into. And one piece of advice that I would like to add to what Hina said is all hands on deck. With a startup, it's always all hands on deck. You cannot say I'm not supposed to be doing this at any given point. There are, even if it's just picking that mug up for your customer and giving him the coffee, and an investor always invests in you. And if you are confident about your idea, it's going to work. Nothing can stop you.
Now, Nidhi, what would you like to add? You've been a journalist, you've been a director in a real estate company. Now you have invested in a couple of startups. You are also venturing into your own startups. So how has your journey been from studying journalism and then getting into this domain? So what would you like to? What did you learn in every aspect of life? Say as a student, as a real estate company, investor.
Yeah, the one thing I can say is I breathe and I live and I breathe marketing. And for me, marketing is passion. So whether that's been real estate or that's been now a part of publishing house or that I'm an investor in a cloud kitchen, the fact remains one thing that if you know how to sell, मतलब एक चीज बोलते हैं अगर आप एक अच्छे सेल्समैन है ना तो वो साबुन की टिक्की भी बेचनी आनी चाहिए. And if you can do that, then you can just about sell anything. So it's an art. All I can say is I'm a jack of all, maybe master of none with everything that I have done in life. But the one thing that I have stuck to is my love for marketing and my passion for marketing. And that has been my core of I had the marketing department in my real estate business. And even BWPL, the content house, is again a marketing head, I stuck my guns on what I believe in what I believe in marketing. I have not drifted from that. That's one of my only shift in line was journalism to entrepreneurship. That was my only drastic shift. But after the jump into entrepreneurship, I think all across my career life, it's always been marketing. So if you're confident about what you do, just show it. Let the person know. Sometimes you don't have it all. Sometimes don't know it all. Be honest. I don't have answers for you right now, but I'm going to come back to you with a plan. So that's all I can say about.
If I can just add to that,
Please.
going by what Nidhi is saying, to have a successful startup, firstly, it's not a one-man show. I think we all need to kind of admit that to ourselves. It's not a one-man show, and you need to choose the right people to play the right role. And everybody needs to have that domain speciality. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to know who can kind of play that role well, and let them do their job, and you do your job to the fullest. And at the end of the day, it will be only you. It's not like an army, but then there'll be that collective of you. That's why mostly they're always co-founders. Whenever you hear it, it's very rare you'll have like this one person. And when it is that one person also, he also has 5 people working under him playing different roles. So just that thought कि हम अकेली पूरा किला फतेह करेंगे, वो नहीं होने वाला. And as she's saying, you have to be true to what your calling is. You know what your calling is, stick to that. Don't try to do something just because. Don't get into food. Don't go there. So
one thing I want to ask is, see, initially, a lot of these young engineers, entrepreneurs, initially they will not be able to afford to hire a new staff, or they may not find a co-founder from day one. So in that case, how to go about it. So I agree, one person, like, in business, I am a strong believer that you have to be jack of all. You might have to do accounting, balance sheet one day, you might have to do marketing one day. But then initially, when you are scarce on resources, how do you manage for something that you don't know?
Should I answer that?
Yeah, both of you can.
I personally feel that Daksh, like Hina rightly said, it's always team effort. I'm not saying staff, but it's very important for you to maybe keep your eyes out for somebody who has the same dream as yours. Who would.
I'm saying till the time we reach.
It's not always true. You're right. It's not always true.
You need to find somebody who believes in your idea as much as you.
Yeah.
It is just that, and it can be collaborative. You don't need to have like a co-founder from day one. Yes, you can be 2 different startups also collaborating together to find synergies and moving ahead. That's fine. Yeah. So of course you can't afford people, and of course you're like really on a shoestring budget no matter what you're doing. I mean, you're a startup at the end of the day. बहुत time लगता है जब तक कोई आपको आके वो seed fund दे देता है कोई if somebody's pockets are big enough to tell you जाओ live your dream जा सिमरन जा type. It's very rare. Of course, it does happen, and you do get investors, and you do get people who believe in you. But it's more than anything else, find people who want to do what you want to do. And as Nidhi is saying, keep your eyes open. Just talk to people. Go. There are these awesome meetups that happen between entrepreneurs and startup crowd, as we call them. There's always someone who has the same vision as you, and you can move ahead. It's not impossible.
Yeah, Daksh, adding to what Hina said, the networking groups, they are, if we narrow down to an answer, that would be your answer. People should join networking groups. That way they can find like-minded people. That way they can find their pack. I'm not saying everyone will come on board and be your co-partner, but there can at least be people who you move in a pack with together. That probably, say, for example, you're offering a certain service, and then there are people who are aligned to that same industry and will be offering services to that same industry. Now, align yourself with those people. say, if you're offering this service, the next time you want to offer, for example, you need this, which you cannot offer, I can offer. For example, a marketing consultant. मतलब मैं digital संभालता हूँ, but मेरे को offline नहीं आता है. Now, if you think you are that person who can handle that offline, tell him, let's go together to this client. Let's try and pitch together. You keep your cut, I keep mine. So I think networking needs help in a huge way to find your path.
Yeah. Please go on.
Yeah. So, as both of them said that, you have to start and, you have to be a go-getter and do everything end to end. There's nothing that does not fall in your kitty, and then you have to definitely be strong with your ideas and be consistent. There will be a lot of people who will say it will not work, and, there are so many competitors. So I feel initially there will be like kind of a like backlog. Hello. Yeah. So what I was mentioning is that initially people will say that your idea will not work, but you have to be very, very sure that, I am going to make it successful. And all of us, I think all four of us have, experienced that, where people have, shared with us that, this will not work. But we were very clear that our idea is very strong, and we are going to overcome these challenges.
Yeah, Kuntal, but how difficult was it for you to leave a corporate job and start something and do something like a food industry, which is very difficult?
Yeah, it was a 360-degree change for me. Like I had initially no food experience. After doing my MBA in the US and working there, I was working with IBM in consulting. So it was very challenging initially because I had no experience, and as all of us were mentioning earlier that we had like at least I got so much negativity from retailers, from distributors, that new brands will not work. And now we are in 5 years of after we started, and if I had bent down, we would have closed it. But we are still working hard and striving and trying to increase the percentage, because food industry is that you have to have a fixed percentage of the market share, and we are steadily increasing. I won't say that we've become leaders in 5 years, but yeah, we are increasing. We are having challenges. Like every day is a challenge, but we are overcoming it and learning, because since it was very new for me, I didn't have previous work experience, but the idea was very strong, and the background was, we had the background. So I just, went into it, and, growing it steadily and slowly.
Yeah. And what about the COVID? Like, how is for all three of you, how has it impacted? Like we had Mohit in previous session, and he's into gaming, and COVID has actually helped him a lot in increasing his business. So for personally, how has your sector been impacted in COVID? Do you see a downtick or a uptick in your existing business?
So who would like to go first? I think maybe you can start.
Hina, go ahead. Hina, you go ahead.
So okay, so one of the companies that we have, it's a travel company. That's why even I'm not. I'm actually in Leh right now in a cafe. That's why it's a little loud. So we are an adventure travel group. We take people around the country on self-drive trips. So COVID, in fact, has there's little in a benefit because nobody wants to take planes and trains and to other public transport. Which everybody's happy traveling by their car, and we do really remote locations. Like this is as populated or popular or urban as it is on the entire trip, which is Leh city. Otherwise, we are in the middle of nowhere. We set up our own custom camp. There is no signal. There is nothing. So COVID for us has kind of worked out well because people do want to get out. We follow all protocols. We make sure the SOPs are in place. We take care and we stay away from people and local communities. We stay away from any place which might, cause. So for us, on that little bit, yes, COVID worked because people want to get out of the house. But for my hospitality business, the hotel business, because when you have hotels in popular areas in the country and you can't go stay in a hotel, the past year and a half has been really tough. And it's not a it's not an easy thing to say when you say like I wonder whether I'll survive the end. Because every time I think you're going to open up, you have to shut down. And to keep that stuff going, your monthly expenditure is really high. We all have businesses, we know how salaries affect you. When there is no incoming, then the outgoing is like, and you have to decide you want to downsize or not. And then you want to decide whether you want to give up on your dream or not. And everybody tells you, I told you, just do a job somewhere. Why do you want to do this? It brings you back to that point. People will always discourage you, don't give up on your dream. Very difficult. So COVID has been like both good and the sector you're in. So I mean, those are the two sectors I can talk to you about. Educationally, also the alternative education startup Jugaad as we were talking about, that has been really good. COVID has been very, very good because we've done a lot of things virtually and nobody's going to college. So this alternative education is really working out. So these three bits, I've seen both sides. So I don't know really how good or bad it was, but yeah, it's affected in its own way. And all of the ventures that I am part of, I'm sure Nidhi has a lot to add to.
Yeah. Again, I think I have both the sides of the picture here because one of real estate, which is my core business, a family-run business, that is doing really well, surprisingly, because thanks to the government subsidies that the realty sector got, there are a lot of more people who are looking at registering their houses with stamp duty levels and stuff low right now. And in fact, I think when the lockdown started, everyone had thought that an industry like real estate, which was already affected with everything that was happening in the last few years with demonetization and then RERA, which is like a regulatory body, people just thought that real estate is going to get worse, but that has not happened. People are actually out there buying houses, and really there is some good amount of sales happening with a lot of builders. Where real estate is concerned, I think the sector is going phenomenally well.
I'll agree with you on the real estate bit. Yes. The real estate business is fine. I mean, it's like
thank God for
surprisingly,
yeah, surprisingly, because I remember when it started, we were like all hands on deck that things are going to go to the dogs in the next few months because the first thing that gets affected is investment. And how home is a second, it's investment. And we thought, who the hell will think about investment in a situation like this where you're fighting for survival? But no, I think people, in fact, I think what has worked for real estate is people are suddenly open to the idea of the chat. मतलब एक roof होना कितना जरूरी है is suddenly something that people have opened to the idea. So even those who were not probably owning homes till now have suddenly opened to the idea of, okay, at least this is the least that we can have is a property that belongs to us, because everything else is so superficial. Like lockdown has taught people.
I think also people have discovered the value of second homes.
Absolutely, second homes, yes.
The value of second homes, because I mean, in our real estate business, we have a lot of properties in Goa, etc. Right. And then it's really strange that after this has happened, I suddenly have so much of demand because people realize it's not just your houses and flats in the cities. You need a place you can go away to. And that's also the reason real estate is really catching up. That people want those second homes. I had to go convince people earlier, why don't you buy a second home, a holiday home? And people will be like, no, I'll just go abroad. Yeah, who will maintain it? And now with Corona, suddenly people have that. If I had that house in Goa, or if I had that house, now people want that second home. So real estate actually,
in fact, even in real estate till probably a year and a half back, we would have never thought of anything apart from residential and the one in the 2 BHK. We've now started looking up plots in Lonavala only for the same reason, like you mentioned, that suddenly everyone is realizing, abroad is not existent anymore. I wish I had that one place to go to, because hotels, people are scared of going to, you're booking bungalows and you're booking it at an exorbitant price to go stay at somebody else's bungalow, and you're not getting the kind of facilities that you want all the time. And I think second homes has come back, and how. So yes, that is one thing about real estate. But on the other side, I do think that all those products that were linked to aggregators like Amazon, Flipkart, since I belong to a publishing house, I think books got affected really bad because they didn't come under the essentials category. So even when the Amazon was delivering, the books were completely cancelled, like no deliveries were allowed. And I think that did hamper the book industry at least. So where books are concerned, it has hampered. Fortunately, what has worked is when this was happening and when the lockdown started, we immediately triggered on a digital platform to the books. Since we were already into kid-centric content, we triggered onto a digital platform, and the digital platform is doing phenomenally well because people are stuck in the houses. And secondly, you know what has happened with virtual school? Book was something that was a me time with your child. Nobody wants to do that right now. They're already fed up of doing school with their children to really bother about sitting and reading a book beyond that. So the sale of books, according to me, has got badly affected, and that I've seen across even when I'm talking to competitors. But there is a big boom in digital content for children because screen time has increased. Even though there is virtual school, but there are parents who are working from home, they don't have an option but to give content on screen to their children. So and there is a dearth for good quality Indian content. So yes, that has suddenly come into the limelight.
What about you, Kuntal?
So initially during the lockdown, there was like a lot of demand for food. All the retailers didn't have, uh, basic stuff to sell as well. But the challenge what we faced was operations, where we were not getting the products from our factory in Rajkot. We could, whatever we could, we were supplying to the stores, but the entire operations chain was affected. So right from getting the goods from Rajkot to here, to getting people to because uh, food industry initially, like in food industry also, we come in the snacks category. The snacks category was also not in essentials, so we were not getting the food passes for the essential service passes for our workers, and also it was a bit challenging. And then now, once everything is opened, all the all distributors have started open. Definitely, we've taken a hit, especially when the stores are now open only till 4 p.m. And majority of our clientele is all small stores, and since people are not going out, people are not buying online, like Big Basket and Amazon are doing very well, it's definitely affected our sales. But we are trying different ways where we are approaching these different companies who are supplying to societies. So in different ways we are trying to subsidize what our existing business model was. But so that's the thing about also being entrepreneurs is you should be so open to change. As Nidhi was mentioning that her that the a book sale was really dropped, so they immediately moved to digital. So the adaptability and to change, like you have to see what the consumer wants and be very adaptable. So that's also one thing all of us are doing in this COVID pandemic.
Yeah. And now, what do you see as a business owner? How do you evolve post pandemic? Any strategic changes or like structural changes you all have to do in your businesses? Like sales getting hit is one thing, but sometimes business models may have to change. For example, PVR will not remain PVR now the same way it was 5 years ago. Maybe people will start going to cinema again, but OTT will always become a good competitor. So has your business, you'll have to evolve or change your business structure strategy in a big way, all of you?
So definitely strategy we will have to change, and we don't know what we are, we can't even predict for within the next 3 months, whether it's going to increase, decrease, whether we are going to have a new lockdown, what it is going to be. But one thing, what is really like, with Zomato also like, doing so well, I think what is going to do well is, at least for my industry, the food industry, is, online delivery and, people moving to the online model. So there's so many of our senior citizens all actually go to the market. So now they all stopped going. So we see that online sales has increased. So we have to fine tune our business model to see how we could, enhance our business, because right now we are very skewed only to supplying to Big Basket or Amazon. There are 2-3 channels, there are 2-3 players in the market, but how we could also evolve, or how we could also provide this kind of, online platform to our consumers, especially right now where we are strong, very strong in Mumbai. So we'll have to think about, changing our business model.
What about Hina, Nidhi? You want to add something?
Well, I think Nidhi already said that they kind of embraced the virtual digital platform as soon as they could, and that's something I'll say that we've also had to do. I mean, where I would say where my primary focus is right now, which is the alternative education initiative I have. We've realized that the fact that we could embrace technology and we could convert everything, we could make everything accessible to someone no matter where in the world they were, has really helped the way we've taken it forward. Daksh, you were part of one of the workshops or seminars that I do. You were part
Yeah,
of one of those, and you
yeah.
saw that we did everything, including the interaction. Because normally, what we are known for is a hands-on experience, and it's very um, interactive. We are really there in person normally. That's how we work. But then for the pandemic, we kind of changed that around. And earlier this year, we even worked with the Ahmedabad Design Week, etc. And we did this workshop, which was on game designing of all things. And Daksh was there. He was very kind to be part of that. But it helped us, and now we are thinking that uh, to move ahead, we need to anyway embrace technology, and maybe this was kind of forced because we were all kind of taking a backseat. Like you don't want to really, embrace change that easily. You want to stick to that nostalgia. कि हाथ से करते तो ऐसा ही होता है. Like even I think in publishing also you might relate to it, Nidhi, right? Holding a book in your hand. And I mean, I've had a Kindle now for I don't know how many years, but I still go buy a book because a book is a book. Like,
Book is a
so
book.
I was that person, like hands-on and this thing. But now, for the past year and a half, we've been doing so much of work digitally, and we are creating so many things. We're working on our publications and everything. And suddenly, you realize that the world is changing, and in COVID, at least that is there that whatever we are doing in real, we are also producing digitally. So all the lesson plans, all the interactions, everything is also virtual now. Sadly, because of that, we need lesser people on ground, but we still need more people to produce that digital content. So it's a very strange balance even in the structure, because earlier if I would do a workshop, I'd need like 4 or 5 mentors to be there, etc., who would have different skill sets. But now because we're doing work digitally, I need people who can produce that content digitally. So yes, the company structure or the planning has changed, but we are trying not to lose our essence. I don't know how the other two are managing that, but I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, it's changed but not. Like, they're not lesser people, they're still people, but yeah, more digital is the way, I guess.
Yeah. I think I agree with you on this, but one thing I think, Daksh, one point here, I think every industry is going to be is individual in nature in this aspect. There are industries that are going to bounce back to what they were, and then there are industries that are going to be there's going to be a complete change. Like travel is going to be back with a vengeance, and nobody can stop it. But at the same time, corporate travel, I don't know, is going to ever exist again. So this is very industry centric. Like I said, for real estate, I think there is a pre-pandemic and a post-pandemic. Till pre-pandemic, commercial construction used to be a massive part of the industry, and right now, मतलब rentals तक नहीं निकल रहे commercial property. So it's a huge game changer where real estate is concerned. The pandemic has changed the complete dynamics of the industry. Because like Hina rightly said, second homes have suddenly boosted. Commercial properties, which was a winner always, has suddenly are completely sitting shut because nobody wants, the MNCs have decided to be working from home for the next 1 year. So there is it's a huge game changer, and it's very interesting because what is going to come to is going to be something which is very beautiful to watch, because there's going to be a complete transition of way of looking at real estate here on. Yeah, where books are concerned, it's a classic. It's never going to go anywhere. You know, so there might have been a slack period in due to lockdown and because aggregators were not distributing the books enough, but they're going to come back, and it's a classic industry. I don't think it's ever going to get hampered. But the one thing that pandemic has taught us is the digital presence. I think across the board, the one thing pandemic has definitely taught us is the importance of having a digital presence in whatever industry you are. Let's sum up at that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. I think we've run out of time, and another session speakers have already arrived. Any last minute advice you all already gave? Any last minute thoughts you would want to add? Please, I welcome you all to add. If not, I think we can conclude this great session. Sorry for disappearing in between. I think it's my electricity is gone, and outside it's going to start rain. So I don't know where I go next now. But anyways, yeah. Any concluding remarks from all of you?
Just last thing which I would share, just believe in your idea and just go for it. Once you, if you analyze or overthink about it, you'll never be able to take, the steps. So just believe in an idea and go with it, and keep on learning. Keep very open to learn. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to second
same
that.
thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say the same thing. And you know what? Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Well, they used to tell us in childhood, right? जब तक गिरोगे नहीं, तब तक चलना नहीं सीखोगे. So it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Just
matter.
believe in your dreams and go for it.
Just go ahead and it'll work. You have to just, if you believe in it, only if you truly believe in it, will people start believing in you. Because if you have any doubt, nobody's going to believe in your idea. So first believe in your idea yourself and go ahead, and it'll work. It'll all work. Don't like darna nahi hai. It is just that. Himmat rakhe, darna nahi. Go ahead. And thank you all for having us, of course.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
And
Bye.
great talking to you, Nidhi. And
Great talking, Hina. Great talking.
all right. Okay.
Bye.